Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Hey, private practice heroes. It's Kathy Colaiacovo with the Marketing Your Private Practice podcast. And today we're doing one of our marketing audits with Christine Duross. Christine is a registered social worker, psychotherapist, certified hypnotherapist, and clinical supervisor. And we're going to be talking to her today about her messaging and her website, in particular, her homepage. Now, these audits are a way to spend a little time with me and focus on one area of your practice so that you can get a strategic review and audit that can help you make some of the changes needed and optimize things so that you're getting better results from your marketing activities and your foundations. And my goal is always to help you simplify and streamline your marketing so that you are getting more results, which typically means you're getting more traffic, you're getting more leads, and you're getting more clients. These are the results that are going to help you generate the revenue that supports your business and your lifestyle. Ideally, one where you're not marketing all day and you have time left at the end of your day so that you can get out and be with the people that matter to you and do the things that matter to you. That's what I call thriving in practice. So let's get into this marketing audit with Christine. Welcome, everybody, to the Marketing Your Private Practice podcast with Kathy C. We are here today with Christine Duross. And Christine is a psychotherapist and a hypnotherapist. And we are going to be talking to her and going through some information on her marketing and some struggles she's having and getting into how we can help her with one of these marketing audits that we do free through part of the podcast. So before we get started here, Christine, why don't you share a little bit with us about your business, your practice, how people can find you on the internet, on your website. Share a little bit about who you are and how you help and what you do with your clients.
Okay, perfect. So I've actually been a social worker since 2010. And for many years, I worked in healthcare with a stroke and neurological population. And then I became very fascinated with the subconscious mind. I think working with the brain in a lot of ways with that population really leans you that way. And I started to study hypnotherapy and that whole realm of things. And I went into private practice last year. I really love it. I supervise social work and psychotherapy students as well. And then I see people for counseling, hypnotherapy. What else?
That's good. So where are you located?
I'm in St. Catharines, Ontario, which is actually a good piece maybe to point out. So under my psychotherapy piece, the hypnotherapy piece, though, allows me to work with people all over Canada or the US.
Oh, awesome. Excellent. Well, let's get into your marketing audit today. So these are free audits that we do offer folks. And they're very similar to the audits that we do with the members in the Thrive Marketing Academy. It's part of the experience they get in that year-long coaching program with me, because originally I started off, it was very interesting. They were bonuses that I would offer, but it became very evident how important they were to people when we did them. So now they're a core part of the program. And what I wanted to try and do is give others the experience of getting that outside perspective, somebody looking at your marketing. So that's what we're going to do today. And we're looking at, so you had some issues that you put in on your audit application that you're finding it challenging to find the right words to describe your therapy offerings, or how to write about therapy on your website in a way that informs and connects potential clients. Because ultimately what you want to do is book, I'm assuming, a free consult with them, like a get to know you call, so that you can determine if there's someone that you can help, that they are a fit for you, and then you move into booking them into the practice. And I think the other thing that you had mentioned, that you came from an environment where a lot of your writing was clinical. So it's just trying to get into using words and content that is less clinical, and you're trying to get across that warm, compassionate. You're there to help people and you want them to know that, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So for anyone listening in, the website that we're going to be talking about is Christine's website. It's christineduross.com. And we'll have a link to that in the show notes so you can take a look at it and see what is happening with it. Now, depending on how fast you are in putting in changes, by the time people listen to this, it may have changed from what we're seeing here today. So is there anything else before I get into your audit and talking about your website and the messages that we're seeing there that you want to add in extra to what you had put in on the application?
I guess one thing that I'm really having a difficult time with is how do I concisely get across a message or even like welcoming when people land on the first page? I always feel like I need to explain so much, but
right.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. A key part of a website, and in particular the homepage, I always tell people there are 3 critical things that have to happen when someone lands on your homepage. The content that's there, whether it's pictures, text, video, audio, it has to make it very simple and very easy for people to understand that, 1, you understand the problem that they have, why they somehow came to your website, whether someone referred them there, whether they found you from a search online, doesn't matter where they came from. What they will always want to know is that you understand the problems that they're having. And number 2, that you can help them with the problem, that you have some solution to make them feel better. So make them get that feeling that they're looking for, that solution that they're looking for. And then the third thing is you want to make sure that they absolutely understand how to get started with you, whether to book a call, to click to buy, to register, to sign up, whatever it is. And in your case here, it's you start with the complimentary call for most people, I would assume. So those are the 3 things that we want to make sure happens with your website. So as I always do, I always tell people, it's not that I was stalking you, but I was on your website before we get on this call. And so on your website, the very first things that you see are the words psychotherapy and hypnotherapy, and then your name. And those are front and center, large on the page on the content. And then you've got the word welcome. And so this is kind of your way of trying to be welcome. A lot of people typically do this. One thing that I'm going to tell you is part of the job of the content on your website is not to just speak to the people that are your ideal client, the people that could work with you, but that website content also needs to speak to the search engines, because you want search engines knowing you have your content there, knowing that your website's there, knowing what it's about, because you have keywords on there, things like psychotherapy, hypnotherapy. For you, part of it's going to be Canada, it's going to be your location, different things like that are actually keywords for you. Your name is a keyword too. Not everybody will know your name, but if you were at a networking event somewhere and somebody was like, oh, that lady I met, her name was Christine Duross, she was a psychotherapist, I think she did with social work. So if they go putting into Google some of these words, you want words on your website that are going to match that. And that's how they're going to find you. Now, ideally, you gave them a business card when you were at an event in person, but sometimes it happens that it doesn't happen that way. So I always like to say, pretend that if somebody heard about you or someone told them about you, they could try to find you. So words on there are important as part of this. So first tip I'm going to give you is the word welcome that you have there, you actually have in what we call an H tag. This is a type of tag you put into your website that typically, based on how your website is set up, it might change the words, like it'll make it a bigger font, maybe a different color, things like that. Those words in those tags are important for the search engines. So for you, the word welcome is not a keyword that anybody's ever going to use to find you. And this is very common. You are not the first person I've ever said, Christine, welcome is not a keyword for you. Okay. So I would love you to change that first step straight away. There are other ways that you can put it in there. But the larger issue that I'm seeing with your website is to what you want to do and get across in the message. You understand their problem and that you have a solution to help them with. So I'm going to read a couple of the words that are on your website here on the first part of it. So it does say welcome. I'm Christine Duross, registered social worker, psychotherapist, certified hypnotherapist, and clinical supervisor. I provide online therapy using a secure video platform and work primarily with adults. I use an integrative, holistic approach in my work, drawing from my background in psychology, neuroscience, and 15 years of experience in the field of health and mental health. I'm here to collaborate, help you navigate life's challenges, and provide you with tools that you feel capable, so that you feel capable and empowered to manage what comes your way. To explore working together, please book a consultation. And then you have a button underneath that says consultations are complimentary. So when I read that back to you, does that tell me as a visitor that you understand my problem, that you have a solution to help me with it, and how to get started?
Not the understanding the problem piece, especially.
Right. You have a little bit of the solution, but what you really have here is very common. You are really getting into the trenches of how you work with somebody. I provide online therapy using secure video. Somebody who has a problem that needs your help really probably at this stage doesn't care about that. And you're detracting from the main message they need, which is, I'm Christine, how I can help you in this way. So one of the things that you're going to need to do here is a little bit of homework and work on that messaging that you've got here, because it's what's here is more about you and less about them. And that's what you really want to shift here, especially at the top part, because it is 100% more about you at this stage. Then you do get into the services and how I can support you. But again, you're getting into, and I think you sort of said this when we were talking earlier, you explained to them what hypnotherapy and psychotherapy are. You can leave that for a little bit later. If you talk what life will be like when you work with me, then that's what's going to hit home to them more. You can explain the nuances of hypnotherapy and integrating psychology and neuroscience with hypnosis after. But I would, on your homepage, you want to really make it very clear that when you work with me, you have this transformation. So you have part of it there. You've got the words, you feel capable and empowered to manage what comes your way. So what I want you to work on as part of this audit is, when that happens, what happens to the person? When they feel capable, when they're empowered to manage what comes their way, what happens with their life? That's the message you want to have on here. You're the person that's going to help take them from this place of needing help, whatever their problem is, which really isn't here at all. One of the ways to work on that is to literally sit down and write like the top 5 problems clients would have before they come working with you. And sometimes this means getting into their heads. So it's not how you would describe it, but definitely how they would describe it. So a bit of homework for you would be making sure that you can say specifically, if I were to ask you, so what's the top problem your clients have? You're just going to say it just like that back to me. That is key here. And that's where you want to get in with the empathy and the compassion here, because you understand what their problem is. And that's a really key part of what's missing here. And so a couple ways that you can go about doing that is you really have to change the wording that you've got there and take it out. It's way too much about you and how you work with people versus what happens to them when they work with you. So I want you to turn that around. It is going to be a little bit of messaging homework for you, just so you know. But that is sort of key. And one of the things that you have to think about is focus on how that work with you will change their life and what their life could be like. You want to get into that. Imagine your life when you're blah, 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 whatever that could be. So 3 top things that you can look at making sure you have on the top of that homepage is, number 1, a really good headline that it can have. You have the psychotherapy and hypnotherapy, which is fine, but you want it to make sure that it exudes what it's going to help them be or what it's going to help them feel like. Whereas right now you've got psychotherapy, hypnotherapy, Christine Duross. So again, it's about you. Ideally, I'd love to see your name leave from there. It would be a lot better if what you could do is take your name, because your name is your brand, really, and put that up in your menu bar that has the dark green color at the top. Get that up there out of the way so that you're not taking up so much space on that top page with your name. That's a key part of this here. So what you want to do is look at some headline. So just as an example, on my website, up at the top, it says, simplify and streamline your marketing. Build a thriving private practice. You probably get a good idea from those words, and there's not sentences and sentences, what I can do and how I can help people. That's the kind of thing that you want to get to. Talk about the problem that they're having and what they could be like in the future, their transformation. The second thing that you want on the website underneath that is what I call the what's in it for me section, the WIFM section. This is where the words that you have there, the words that you put in, and you don't need a ton of them, but they have to speak to the ideal client so that they understand you know what their problem is and that you have a way to help them. And this is the big value. Like, this is what is the value to them from working with you, but it's got to come from their point of view. The next thing, very simple, just a 3-step plan on how to get started and work with you so that they can see all these changes that you're talking about. And for someone like you, a very simple plan is simply something to the effect of, the first thing you need to do is book a complimentary call and talk with me. The second thing will determine, and I wrote this, but you can word it how you would want to do it. But essentially, you want to let them know you and I together will determine your top area that we need to focus on for your healing, something like that. You can feel free to use them if they work really well. Okay. And then that's where you get into this. And the third step is you're going to go out and feel capable and empowered to manage whatever comes your way in life so that you can, whatever that is for them. And if that is included at the top, then you can add more things further down the page. You can list the different services and link, you have a page on each one of those, what it is all about. So then you could link there, and that's where it could explain more about it. Again, book a call to get started. All of that stuff could still be on there as well. But you don't have to try so much and explain the psycho and the hypnotherapy to them on the homepage so much as you have to make sure that they understand you get their problem, you have a way to help them, and when they work with you, this is what will happen to them. So that would be my big thing that I would want to tell you. Now, I'm all about bonuses, and I can never help myself when I'm looking at things. So I do have a couple bonus tips for you too. I clicked your booking link. And when I click your booking link, you have the Jane app to book. All of a sudden, there's pictures of 2 people there. There's somebody else named Tracy. And I don't know who Tracy is from your website. So you need to explain somewhere where Tracy is there or take her off the booking page. And because what you do is once I click to your booking, it says book by practitioner. And then you have a new client consult offered by Christine and Tracy. And so you have an online one and a phone one. You've got a picture of Tracy there, but I don't know who she is. So what that has really done for me here is put a little doubt. Well, who's this other person now that is on here that I might be talking to? I thought it was Christine because it was all about Christine on the other page. So somehow, whether it's in the about section, you introduce her, you can probably update the Jane part at the top and explain who she is there. Somewhere you've got to introduce who she is if you're going to have her on your booking like that. Otherwise, people are just going to be wondering, who is this person? The other bonus tip I wanted to give you is your contact page. So at the top of your contact page, you've got these words: reach out to me if you'd like to explore working together or ask questions. Be mindful about including personal health information, blah, blah, blah. Or to confirm we're good fit, you can schedule a time to connect by booking a consult on my calendar. So on here, on this page, I don't know who you are. So one of the top things on a contact page that you want to have is your name. Remember I said earlier, your name is a keyword. So at very top, you can put in the words, contact Christine Duross, psychotherapist, hypnotherapist in St. Catharines, Ontario, working virtually and in person with clients. Now, all of a sudden, you've got a bunch of keywords on that contact page, plus they know who they're reaching out to. Then you can give them the options that you have on there. One of the things that you do want to do, and I would recommend episode 9 of the podcast, I tell you 10 ways to optimize your contact page. So definitely listen to that afterwards. And there is a download on there that I have that lists out, you can sign up and get a PDF of the 10 things. So you have it printed out there. You can have it on paper of what to do or online. But one of the things that you want to make sure you do, you have the option there. You say you can schedule a time to book a consult in my calendar. And then in kind of small words, you said you can book here in my booking platform, like with a little link under the word here. And then you have another section that says schedule consultation. So I'd like to see up the top if you can put a button in color, book your free consult here, and then send them out to the page. That way, if they want to book and they come to your contact page, they know exactly how to book. If they want to send you a message, then they can send you the message. But that episode 9 of the podcast will explain a lot more about how to optimize that contact page. But that is key because you could be losing some people there because there's not enough in it necessarily for people to understand what to do and how to reach you as well. So that's what I would have for you to kick off and start with on this marketing audit today. Do you have any questions about any of the recommendations or anything?
No, this is really great. It makes a lot of sense to me. Absolutely.
Okay, good. So it really is, there's some very simple steps. It is going to be a little bit of homework to do some messaging work is what you need to work on a bit. Messaging about what are the words they're saying, what are their problems, make sure you understand that and the transformation that you give them, because that is key to them knowing and understanding how you can help them. Well, thank you so much for being part of the podcast, Christine, and for opening up your website and your business and your practice so that everybody else can learn by example. I do find that is one of the best things is watching others or hearing about others and some of their struggles. You can usually turn that back into something of your own and how to make that work for you as well. And for those listeners out there that are listening in, if you want to apply for your own audit as well, is very simple. Christine, right? You fill out the application at pepperitmarketing.com/audit, and we'll send you a link to the online recording studio, and you'll be all set to get your own free audit as well. And we do offer 5 different types: websites, messaging, lead magnets, articles, and number 5, social media profile reviews, because that's a key area as well. So Christine, before we sign off here today, I'd love for you to let everyone know how they can find you online or reach out and connect with you in case they are someone who has your ideal client problem or knows of someone that you could help as well. So please share for us where we can find you.
Okay, great. So my website is christineduross.com. On Instagram, I'm christine.duross. And LinkedIn, Christine Duross. I often work with people who have anxiety, so I'll just mention that. And I have some fun things coming up this year, so I'll be adding those to my website as well, like really good hypnosis audios and an online course about being able to use self-hypnosis in like a supercharged way to really take advantage of how powerful your mind is.
Awesome. Okay. And we will link to all of Christine's contact information in the show notes as well. And thanks again to everybody for tuning in to one of our Marketing Your Private Practice podcast audits with me, Kathy C. And the whole goal from this podcast is to help you learn strategies so that you can thrive in your practice and your business. And be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes and learn those tips that will help you thrive in business and life. Have a fabulous day, everyone. You can find all of our show notes and resources mentioned at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at pepperitmarketing and say hi. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, and make sure to rate and review the podcast and hit subscribe on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes.